Hello, everyone. This is Cassandra Williamson. I am coming to you a little early today. I've got some stuff to take care of with family. I have a doctor's appointment with mom later today. It's a regular appointment. Nothing actually is going on with her other than just, like I said, it's a regular appointment. My brother is doing all right. He's fighting really hard to be able to get back to breathing right and better. And so he's pushing himself even harder and harder, trying to get out there and do things and take care of stuff that he needs to take care of. And my little sister, she is doing all right, doing all right. Same thing as usual. So I just want to bring everybody up to date on that. If any of the family are watching this, and yeah, the other big thing I want to talk about is how we can move forward in all these times where everything seems to be an attack, and a direct attack upon people like myself and others. In this country, LGBT or any minority really in this country, there seems to be a direct assault upon them. And it's not just a seeming thing. It's not just um, easygoing and all that kind of stuff. It is not. Well, let me just start back and rephrase all of that just slightly. This is, in fact, an assault on us, period. It's orchestrated by the Heritage Foundation's Project 2025. You can read it directly in the foreword that Dr. Kevin Roberts wrote, and it's laid out clearly there. I mean, by the time he gets to page 3 and 4 of his foreword, he's already mentioned sexual minorities, gender minorities, abortion, everything. He's mentioned it all and tied sexual orientation and gender identity with pornography and all of these things, an attack on the traditional family values. He's attacked all of this. He's attacked all of it there in the forward, and that's just the Project 2025's mandate for leadership, the policy guide. It's just ongoing, and we're seeing all of these things take place in the federal government right now. Yes, a lot of things are facing lawsuits and challenges in court, but the whole idea is to swamp the system with so many things that it forces the Supreme Court to take up the cases and consolidate them into one and try to address all of this stuff about sexual orientation, gender identity, marriage equality, all of it. That's the whole thing we're seeing all across the country, is this onslaught of attacks against gender and sexual minorities, and any minority really, so that they can get all of these things up to the Supreme Court because they think they've got an advantage there right now, which they do. Yes, they do. Okay, so we're seeing all those things take place, but also there are people pushing back against all of this. Courts in Massachusetts have ruled that a lot of the directives that have been issued by the Trump administration and by the National Institute of Health are purely discriminatory, on their face, completely discriminatory behaviors, and then put a hold on those things, stop them from being implemented further. But the Trump administration, they really love to go the next step and keep fighting and fighting. And, like I said, that's part of this playbook that they have. They're just going to keep on going. They want to get them to the Supreme Court. They want to go up as far as they can with it, as far as they can. So, wow. I mean, it's just crazy. So right now we're having people who are trying to figure out ways to take care of transgender people, kind of like a transgender underground railroad, trying to take care of them and get them safely to different places where they can get the care they need, either inside the United States or out. This stuff is happening, folks, even in the VA, the Veterans Administration, where as a veteran, I go to the VA. And there are doctors and providers within the VA system who are kind of doing the underground resistance to what they're calling, and what I've called before too, the Lavender Scare 2.0. That's what we have going on right now in this country, is Lavender Scare 2.0. Now, obviously, there are people who disagree with all that kind of stuff, and it is not. And by the way, this is not countrywide. I mean, it's not across the whole nation. And you don't see this kind of stuff actually taking place out here in the communities. I don't. And I'm right here in Appalachia, right here. I don't see that kind of stuff here. I'm sure it's here. I don't doubt it one bit. But I have yet to find, in the year and a half that I've been here, I've yet to been back here, I've yet to find anyone who deliberately and consciously is out to get me in any kind of way. I don't care that, I don't care if they kind of pick up on the fact that they got this weird voice and a different kind of body. That doesn't bother me in the least. Okay. I have fun with that. I have a lot of fun with it. That's what I do. I just have fun with that because, geez, come on. You'd have to be stupid not to see and hear this voice and realize that there's a disconnect between something and something else. I don't deny that. I know the realities. I know on a superficial level that my genes are XY. Yes, I know that. However, I did say superficial because we are learning more and more every day about how this stuff actually works. It's not on-off switches, but slider switches and all of those genetic alleles and genes and proteins and all that kind of stuff. Those are slider switches, not on-off switches. But anyway, I don't want to belabor the point about the science. I know the science. I know a lot of it, not all of it. So anyway, we have Lavender Scare 2.0 and the people who are taking care of our LGBT and T veterans in the VA system are, very discreetly trying to figure out ways to take care of them without drawing attention to themselves in so doing, because they would be fired by this current administration by talking about or even taking care of prohibited topics. Does that sound like America? You can't talk about that one, or you can't even broach that topic or that subject because it's a prohibited word or idea or thing or whatever it is. The research uses prohibited words. You got to stop it. Holy cow. Can any of you tell me where you've seen that kind of stuff in history? Where have those things happened in the past? Well, they've happened here. They happened here a lot throughout our history, actually, in the United States. Book bans and burning books and all that stuff is not new. Burning down things that we don't like is not new. I mean, come on. You have Greenwood in Oklahoma. Yeah. Remember that one? No, I don't remember it, but I do know reading about it, where the population in the local communities were offended that the black population had their own Wall Street, a black Wall Street in Oklahoma. Right. So the white population rose up and burnt down the city, that whole community. Because, you can't have black people having more money than the white people, right? Yeah, right. That's the same kind of stuff that they want to do with trans people and LGBT people. They want to shove them back under a rock. They want to make it difficult for them to live openly and freely. And that's the same stuff we're seeing right now that's taking place across this country. Now, I do want to point out something, that if the violence is coming from our side, and I know who's doing it, I will be the one to notify the feds or the local state police. We cannot be the ones burning down stuff, throwing rocks at people, and harming the law enforcement officers of our country. That is wrong, period. Period. They shouldn't do it, and we shouldn't be doing it. And all these different things. I saw a clip over on X about a car running over a woman who was trying to stop a car. Well, she had to know that she was going to get run over because the car kept moving. It didn't stop. It kept moving, and they run over her legs. The driver of that car should never have done that, and the woman should never have been in front of that car trying to stop it. There's no way you're going to stop that car with your body. All you're going to do is become crushed underneath it. So use your heads, people. Use your head. Use your head. Stop being idiots out here. Come on. That applies to all sides. We don't want a repeat of Kent State in Ohio in 1970, where 4 students were killed and 9 wounded. We don't want that. You had some trigger-happy National Guardsmen. They fired 67 shots into the student protesters who were protesting the Vietnam War and our engagement with it. And they were protesting also the fact that, the government had hidden from them the fact that we were involved so heavily. Yeah, and that they had We're going to go ahead and attack something else. And even though they were trying to back out, ostensibly, publicly, they're trying to get out of the war, but over here on this other side, they were going, go get them over there. Go get them over there. No, look, war protests are common in this country. They've been there. And part of the protest was also that the military was on the campus. Yes. Can't don't want to give others an opportunity to do those kind of things against us here in this country either. And the fact that Trump is calling up the National Guard and sending in Marines to do things is deeply disturbing, because we know that the presence of these forces can exacerbate a situation on the ground, and it could lead to someone getting killed, someone getting shot by some kid who's got their finger on the trigger of their gun, even if it's a pellet gun or a beanbag gun nowadays, which they didn't have back in '70. But those can be dangerous and harmful as well. But the thing is, we need to start stepping back all this rhetoric that's coming from all sides on this. All sides on this. We've got to open ourselves up to have conversations about hard topics. And we have to stop being an absolutist in everything that we're doing or saying or bringing people in for conversations. The only people you want to hear from are those that you agree with. I'm sorry, that is not the way this is supposed to work. Constitutional republic is built on dialogue. Yeah, it can be difficult dialogue. It can be even combative dialogue. But the dialogue has to occur so that we can find a way to move forward, ever how incremental that may be. We've got to do those things. And that's a challenge for so many people. Most people out here right now, they're so entrenched in their silo and their group, that groupthink has taken over, and that they have become so wrapped up in just their views and to hell with everybody else's. It's not going to move the country forward when we do that. And yeah, part of the dynamic are the marches and the parades and all that kind of stuff. Sure. As long as they're peaceful, that's fine. You're fully entitled to do those kind of things. Absolutely. Go do them peacefully without destroying property in the process of doing it. Go do those things. You're entitled to do that. I mean, that's built into the Constitution, the amended Constitution. Let's put it that way. So, yeah, go out there and do things, but do it right. Come on, folks, come on. So anyway, the one thing I wanted to reiterate again, the way that you can do things to help move this game forward is go vote when the opportunity arises. Yeah, there's going to be challenges to everything, even in voting. Oh my God, is there ever? And that's always been the case too. We challenge this, we challenge that. We don't like the outcome. We don't like that person, so we challenge that too. It gets infuriating and tiresome at the same time. But here in Appalachia, right here in Pike County, Kentucky, I go out, do my thing. I'm going to be taking Mom out to the doctor here in just a little bit. I was just out there earlier. I went out and did a little bit of running around for DoorDash because, it gets me out. I get to see people. I get to meet them, say hi, and they get to hear a voice that doesn't match what they see when I walk up to their door. It challenges all of their preconceived notions. Most of the time, the basis notions. But anyway, so, go out and be seen, folks, but don't be seen in such a way that you end up on the front page of some newspaper somewhere throwing a rock through somebody's window or setting fire to something. Don't do those things, period. And support those providers inside VA that are trying to take care of our LGBT and T veterans. If you know them, keep their names hidden. Do not reveal it. We got to have all the help we can get, folks. Anyway, with that, I need to go and get everything ready to get my mom to the doctor. Going out to Appalachian Regional Hospital in South Williamson. to Dr. Soma's office. It's actually Soma Sanhedrin, Dr. Soma Sanhedrin. And that's Mom's doctor. But anyway, I go out there, I meet with the people, and it's really fun. Now, it kind of was confusing for them at first, but now they're just used to it. So anyway, everybody's good here, and you be good. Be good, and start listening to opposing views, whether you agree with them or not. Start thinking that you need to expand your horizons just a little bit, because once you get stuck in a holler and you're unable to see outside of it because of the mountains on either side, and you got people who are saying, don't do that because that's not what we do here. Well, it's time for you to kind of stick your head up out of the sand and go, help. There's no sand. There's very little sand here. There's rocks and water and mountains. Bye, everybody.